when it's midnight and you're in the bar and you get the sense that, the bar's going to close in 90 minutes and you think, not enough people have seen me yet. And maybe we should go to another bar so more people can see me.
Yeah.
I feel like podcasting is like that for me. Not enough people have heard my thoughts. And I feel like my mom raised me to be a giver. She didn't want me to be selfish. And I have these thoughts that I think
it'd be a waste if you didn't give it to the world.
People seem to really enjoy them.
Yeah, no, I enjoy.
And while I've probably been on my best behavior today on this episode of the podcast.
So if you want the uncensored, unfiltered, the full spectrum, the force of nature, this John Clarke, you go to the podcast. Funny enough, I think you're drinking throughout most of the podcast.
Yeah.
Tequila. So they only last like an hour because you seem to I'm guessing that you just lose it 1 hour. Like it's like Cinderella turns into a frog or whatever. One
of the things I'm learning is sometimes you have great conversations when you're drunk and sometimes you don't. Like I went into it with the right drunk, edit sober mentality.
Yes. But Hemingway,
yes. But turns out that sometimes you don't have that much to edit when you're super shit-faced. And so I've been scaling that back a little bit. And
what do you mean exactly by that? Like, where does it go wrong when you're drunk? I'm curious about that because
it gets especially when you have a personal relationship with the person that you're talking to, rather than trying to put some ideas on display for other people to hear and maybe talk about, you wind up just having like a conversation with your bro about inside jokes and things like that. And it's like, it's not that interesting. No one wants to like watch, go to a bar and watch two people sitting there getting drunk and talking to each other is different than listening to like strong discourse.
Yes. One interesting thing as a fan of Joe Rogan, I've been a fan of Joe Rogan for a long time, and he has his friends over a lot, right? And there's a aspect to those 3, 4, 5 hour conversations that I really enjoy. There's a magic to those. I think he taught the world that those kinds of long form conversations can work. What you forget is Joe Rogan is a comedian. His friends are also celebrities. Like they know what it's like to be on the mic. They know there is a challenge to actually having your friends on a microphone.
Totally.
Like they've never, this is the first time they've been on a microphone.
Yeah.
And that's actually what you've been doing, which is a very interesting experiment. And you find that some are more awkward than others. Like they're trying to find like, what do I do with this kind of thing? Why do you not talk to strangers? Why did you go with people that you actually know?
So the simple answer is the people that I selected are both interesting and I thought would be good at talking. But then I noticed the thing you just mentioned. Like my buddy Paul did the first one, and Paul's a wild man.
Yeah.
And if you went out with Paul, he can talk about a bazillion topics to a significant level of depth, right? And he's got a good understanding and he's got a unique perspective on a lot of things. And I think he was the first guy I invited on my podcast, and it was almost like he was on a little bit less than natural about it. And then by the time he loosened up with some drinks, we were all shit-faced.
There's a phase shift that
totally. And so he's going to come back on and he'll be more comfortable with it. And it'll probably be awesome because he's a great person to talk to. I had my friend Dave on, who's a restaurateur and a musician. That one will be released pretty soon. But yesterday I had a guy on who you might really enjoy listening to, who's a friend of mine. His name's Mark Clem. He's an endurance athlete, and he's been he's been called the white Dave Goggins. And he talks about like those comparisons and what he hates about it and the various events and stuff. And he's just a guy who's just always kind of like natural, and like I knew he'd be great to get on the podcast. And so I started with friends who I thought could handle it, and who also are just really interesting people. And I did it so that I could also establish a level of comfort because it was a new thing for me. And I knew that they wouldn't really give a shit what I was doing and be like, hey, this is cool. I'm going over to JC's house. We're going to drink some tequila and talk shit. There's just going to be a microphone there this time.
I mean, it's amazing what you're doing, the freedom of it. I mean, you're not currently doing any advertisements or any of that kind of stuff. You're just exploring your voice. This is one of the mediums that you're just trying it out.
My 11 subscribers know what I'm about, though.
Your 11 subscribers. It's in the double digits.
Yeah.